Hey guys, it's Brittany. So I'm going to go over 3 ways to make your remedy a little more gentle if you are reacting strongly to it. So let's say you've been prescribed a remedy or you prescribe for yourself, but every time you take it, you start getting side effects, whether or not that's symptoms you've never had before, which we call accessory symptoms, or it's an aggravation of what you already have, which we call a homeopathic aggravation. Either one can be a bit troublesome, and if you are highly sensitive, you will often get these side effects, and it sometimes can feel very hard to manage, and especially if you really are sensitive and you react to everything. Not everybody reacts to remedies strongly, but some people certainly seem to. So first thing you can do is try diluting down in water. I have another video on this, but basically, let's say you put a cup of water in here and you put your remedy in there, your pellets or your liquid dose, whatever. You stir, and then you take a teaspoon and you put it into a second glass of water, and you take a teaspoon of this second glass, or however many glasses you decide to go. And it doesn't have to be a teaspoon. Different homeopaths say different things. Sometimes it's only a drop, sometimes it's half a cup, I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. Basically, you're diluting it down without too much succussion, which is the stirring or the shaking. For whatever reason, it seems succussion makes things stronger. Dilution makes things more gentle. So the idea is to dilute down a little bit more. So then the second thing you can do is the thing that I really don't like to talk about too much because it makes me sound like a crazy person. But I will tell you here, out of the interest of making knowledge available to all. So you can do olfaction, which basically means sniffing a remedy bottle. So you just take your remedy bottle, take the little cap off, and go, and there you go. Some people make it a little more fancy and complicated, like you have to close one nostril and sniff it through one and then sniff it through the other. I don't think you have to be that particular, although you can if you want to be. I think you can just sniff the remedy bottle. This is also a great trick with animals, actually. Once my cat got hit by a car and his whole face was horribly injured. He had broken his jaw in 4 places. Everything had to be reconstructed. It was horrible. But so when we were taking him to the vet, I didn't want to touch his face to give him arnica because that's where the injury was, and I didn't know exactly what kind of injuries he had. I didn't want to make anything worse. So I just held the arnica bottle up to his nose because then I didn't have to touch him. I didn't have to, touch anything that was injured or move anything out of place. He could just take it that way. Now, it's a very gentle dose that way. I don't think the arnica did a whole lot because it's a very, very gentle dose. But it's better than nothing, right? If you really got to do it that way, you got to do it that way. But it does seem to have been more common in the olden days. Bunny has a whole article on olfaction and how well it works, as opposed to just doing pellets. It's sort of fallen out of favor. I wonder if it's partly because everyone thinks homeopaths are effing crazy anyway, and so we don't want to sound even more crazy by telling people to sniff their remedy. So I talked about pellets, though, and you can do it with liquid doses as well. So let's say you have a little liquid bottle, like something I would prescribe, or you've put it in a cup of water already. Just sniff it. There you go. You can go on your way. You just have a very small dose. So then the third thing, which is because I, at different times in my life, have been very sensitive, and this does change, right? Like, the idea is as you get more healthy, you may not necessarily be quite as sensitive as you are at the beginning. But so certainly in times in my life, I've been very sensitive to remedies, and I would find I reacted really strongly, like in the first hour after I took something. If you fall into that camp, what I did was I took my remedy right before bed. So I had my slight aggravation while I was sleeping, and I didn't feel anything. And then I was fine to go about my day the next day without having any kind of side effects or aggravation or whatever. So if you are reacting in just the few hours after you take the remedy, you can take it before bed and then sleep through your aggravation. Okay? So I hope that helps. Till next time. Bye.